Here's the Lendio business loan review video that is unlike anything else out there or what you will ever come across. Hi, this is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert who's helped out a lot of businesses get the right type of financing under the right vehicle with the right strategic partnership and roadmap for longer term success. I have vetted the best underwriters, lenders, network, and team of people to help you so you're not having to go out there making mistakes time and time again, being overpromised, underdelivered, and so much more. And we'll encompass a little bit of that in this video. But just so you know, I've also created a separate Lendio video that I'll link you to down below in the description. So you can go ahead and check out where I actually show you on screen a few things. But this will be kind of an attachment and somewhat similar to it. So let's get right into things. Whether you are just getting started and you heard about this company and you're probably being referred there, perhaps you saw an advertisement on Facebook, Google, elsewhere, you're hearing about it from a video, a blog post that you just searched on Google, how to get a business loan in your area or just in general, and you're like, yeah, I heard about them, or perhaps you've already tried them and you know perhaps what kind of things are happening, perhaps there are problems, and you're here now just trying to figure out, am I doing the right thing? Maybe it's post after an offer and you're like, is there anything else out there that's better? And you're looking for something with better terms, rates. You want more transparency. So what I want you to know is when you go to an online marketplace like Lendio, there are other ones out there like a Lending Tree, perhaps a Lenzia, or a few other ones. There are quite a bit, and more spring up over time. And I've done review videos on these, so I'll link you to them down below as well. But these are online marketplaces, just so you know, whether there's a fintech company attachment to it or not, and how they can digitalize the process, streamline it, and make it faster. Perhaps those things are true, but you have to be careful because if you give these companies your information, they're going to be sent to third-party distributors, or in other words, lenders that they house. Let's think about it this way. They are getting lenders that are buying their way into their platform so they can be more visible to people. And yes, you have direct lenders and you have online marketplaces, or you have this brokerage that is not exactly a quote unquote online marketplace and how they behave, but there are discrepancies to each. You should be aware that you shouldn't always go directly, but you shouldn't go to this online marketplace at the same time, because you can get multiple offers, but it's not always best. That marketplace isn't always best for you. And then over here is like a brokerage setup where I already have those direct lender partnerships, by the way. I could do it directly or I could do it indirectly, where I already have those direct lender partnerships. So if you do it in a more exclusive or better setting where we're not hurting your credit or doing things like that, I can go in after I review, I send it to the underwriter, write one, and then now I can see, okay, we want 2 to 3 lenders from your industry that are the best, by the way, for what you qualify for your underwriting. And I want to entertain 2, but I really wanted this one to come in, and that helps, and it doesn't hurt your credit. And there are times to do it directly, but a lot of the times right now in this market, it's hard because of everything we're going through in the economy, this recession, etc. And they don't always accept something directly, and a lot of the times they decline it. You can have a B, C tier, A tier going to an A tier lender, a B tier going to a B tier lender, and they will still look at it and probably get you less, not the best discounts, flexibility, and everything of a longer term strategic wise you got to get. So what you have to understand is when you give information to a Lendio or one of these lending trees or whatever other online marketplace that is, they are not necessarily always going to give you the best. Sometimes they will, but you might not have that look. And they may be using the same underwriters other people are using. So you have to be very careful, especially in the underwriting part, because you might get somebody who's older, younger, in between, or they just are out to date on this and not up to speed, or just take forever. They didn't really know about your industry per se. They used another underwriter from a different industry, or don't know specifically about what you have to do, and don't give you the flexibility, the aid you really need. And on top of that, you might not get the best lender. Just because they have people on their platform doesn't mean they are the best lender or lenders for your specific needs, your industry as well. So you have to understand those things. And another thing that can happen, I'm not saying they do this absolutely, but what I've seen from other online marketplaces is they bait and switch. And I've heard stories like that, and I've seen a little bit, but things like, well, hey, we'll take this off your hand, or hey, we'll show you something, but then another thing appears. So you have to be careful with the wording. I'm not saying 100% that is what is happening here, but I've seen that from somewhat of these online marketplaces that they get bait and switch. And I've heard stories of them where You go there and they tell you, hey, well, yeah, we can get you a monthly, or we can try to get you a bi-weekly. If we just look at the file, just we'll send us the application and the 3 months of bank statement. Like, they make it sound so simple and easy and effortless, which it sounds that way and it's nice, but at the same time, you're not getting an education. You might be bait and switched. Again, might be bait and switch, and I've heard those stories happen. So be very careful about it. That could be springing up more recently because of the changes that are happening in this industry, and everybody out there is out to get you. I've been in that position before. I've received funding myself from other sources, and having come through places like this, realizing that it wasn't the direction to go into, and pivoting and having to find other online marketplaces that at the same time I was like, nope. And then I found a bait and switch here, then I found one there, and I said, that's not something I want. So you are getting overpromised and underdelivered at times, and they are popping up in your email inbox. You're giving them access to send you emails from different lenders and providers. There might be multiple, then you don't even know what's happening anymore. You're like, I didn't even apply to them, but it was the online marketplace that distributed your information. So be very careful. You're not always getting the best. Look, maximum terms, better rates, maximum funding. That's why you don't always want to go and give your information like that. Aside the fact from when they just advertise online, and it appears good because they can advertise and spend 6 to 15 to 20,000, 100,000 a month. That doesn't make them any better. So you have to be careful. And that whole bait and switch where, hey, we can get you a monthly option, but instead they end up giving you a daily. And if you're in position to do a daily, okay, if it makes more sense, but weekly can help. You don't always see a monthly, you see weekly and daily, and I'm not going to get into that subject right now with revenue-based financing. I'll leave a video down below on that. But again, that bait and switch. And then another part is you might be getting your credit shopped. So whether it's a soft inquiry or not, it still reflects. And then when you go apply to another lender, another organization, there's another inquiry, another. And then it ends up happening that you had a hard inquiry somewhere where you're like, I didn't even know that was the case. Or you did know, but you just kind of ignored it. You were just so exhausted at that point. But be very careful, because even that multiple amount of soft inquiries, if you go to another lender, if you were to come to me after like 100 inquiries, or sometimes less, more or less, like, just recent, and you've been turned down, or you're just kind of like scattered and not fully committing, like a lender will see that and question it. They might give you room to work with, but they'll say, hey, this person has applied recently in the last 3 months about 5 times and they haven't done anything, or they've applied to us specifically and we can't accept their file because we don't know what they're doing, or they're just not eligible. So you have to be careful about who you give your information to. And it's another factor of, if you're a B tier client going to an A tier, that's not going to work. You got to be a B tier going to a B tier or C tier. So until you bump up, you got to learn about who the right lender is. And again, I have the best in the space you've likely heard of, and I can do a lot more with my network because they know me and my team. So bait and switch, credit could be shopped around. It could be hurt. You can end up at maybe some kind of Social Security fraud. I'm not saying that they will do that. That's not the case here. But over the time, and you're doing other things, there might be some alerts, hard inquiries you didn't even know about. And again, it's third party, so everything's being sent to different lenders. And you might just pick of the draw, find something on your email, and you're tired of it. Emails, calls, text messages. I've been there, done that. I still get it till this day. You guys can't even imagine. You probably do. But I get plenty of them, and I don't commit to them because I already have built a relationship with my lender or lenders and those underwriters, and I know what to do if I ever have to go back and get funding. So that's another component. Cost may be a little bit higher. Another part of it is being the maximum amount of funding. So I've helped out business owners even recently right now, and I'll continue to, where we helped get a business owner from somebody who went to Lendio at about 150,000. We ended up getting them at most 200,000 maximum, and they had multiple offers to select from, and they ended up taking 175,000. And this was a restaurant owner in the Los Angeles area. So that's one example. I have multiple other ones where I have people who come to me without applying there, but they know those other online marketplaces, and I can go, yeah, because we have a better established relationship personally and in business, close knit, more exclusive, flexibility, benefits to doing things, and help. So you want to have that because it's going to help you longer term, and you're going to have more of a strategic plan on what to do and how to grow from one level to the next. Or do I keep taking out more? Do I move up here? When is it good for me to do this? And I'm going to help you along the way, especially because I help people with business credit, personal credit, and more. So those are just a few examples on having a closer relationship with a business loan broker like myself who knows the connections, who knows if I look at your bank statements and if there are tax returns needed for a certain amount, not always, especially with lower doc financing, then I'm going to take that to the right lender or lenders, but we're not going to hurt your credit. We're going to say, hey, we're going to see one here, two here, and then we're going to bring in the one that really wants to work with you, or we're going to look at this one, and that one's the one that wants it. And we're not going to just start having them every one of them contacting you. We're not going to be doing that. We find the right one, we associate it, there's a contract in play, a hello sign, and then there's a decision log bank verification thereafter, the contracts, etc., or meantime, and then we can deposit ACH withdraw. Boom, you're on your way to getting your funding already, and then you can use it to grow and expand your business more appropriately. And that's another side of the process, is you're not getting a robotic answering machine who just says, hey, just start up an account and then we're going to give you a response back to see you on an offer and you're pre-approved and that's what you fall in love with and it looks so good. But you know this, it's not always the final offer. And so there still needs to be more in the underwriting. But you're not just sitting there just, oh, because I was able to create an account. It sounds so good. And you might be speaking with somebody who's more of a customer service rep, maybe not the person like a broker who knows their stuff and is up to date in the market. So you're getting more general answers in return to your harder questions that they may not be able to answer, or they probably in a way can, but they make it sound good. Like, oh yeah, they may probably make something up. Not saying they do that, but I'm saying that could be something that happens. So there are very many more reasons why I am opposed to somebody like a Lendio, maybe a Lending Tree. And I've had people come to me and go, hey, well, if I would have known, like the other day, somebody had applied to a Lending Tree and they were not happy with what they were getting and how their information was being looked at and everything like that. But they have different products. They have the accounts receivable financing, they have equipment loans, they have term loans at merchant cash advance products, etc. So the products, they are legitimate, but at the end of the day, you have to be careful, like I said in this review, about who you're giving your information to. That's what I wanted to put the premise on, is understanding that if you give somebody your information, understand what comes with that. Might not be best for you, usually isn't. And when you have an alternative where it's more closer knit and you'll be having a better look for your industry, your needs, and what you try to do, that you may not have gone over here or you weren't told. And that's the premise too, is you might have some information on the Lendio site that shows you the different services and like what they entail, but they don't always give you a clear picture of the actual underwriting to each and every one of these services. So you have to ask somebody like myself, and I'm on the site right now just as we're speaking, just so I can use this as guidance. And I made another video just so you know, so you guys can check out down below. But yeah, they have the different options. You can select from how much money do you need, see your options, understanding the business term loans, the loan amount, time to fund, as soon as 24 hours, loan terms 2 to 10 years, interest rates as low as 6%. It sounds good, right? When you see 2 to 10 years as low as 6%. But if we're talking 10 years, usually we're talking like collateral based. If we're talking as low as 6%, what kind of business loan is this? Prime rates are at 7.5 as the time of me making this video, and it can be high as 8.5 or so when you're probably watching, more or less. So 6%, maybe an online bank term loan is what we're talking about, because those can fall in between 6 to 30%. But it's the transparency that you want to see, and it's a lot of business owners, they look at the site, and from my perspective, because now I know this, and because I also have a digital marketing background, and so I have a digital marketing agency and affiliate marketing businesses. So I know when somebody markets, I know how to read through the lines, and I know that I can't always take something at face value. Now, if everything is given to me like precisely, like I will show you, great. And I'll have a resource down below for you to check out on an actual service that I recommend. But not to say that they don't work. That's not what I'm saying in this video. Or I'm not saying that they're a fraud. They are not. They are legitimate. It's just, again, your particular way of applying for business funding needs to change. And it's not because you don't like get it. It's just nobody was showing you this, or nobody's revealing to you how these actually work and how you might not be getting the best look from the best lender. And you got to leverage myself and my team to help you more strategically, to show you a roadmap. Like, hey, I can work with you on business credit. Like once you're in the door with me, well, I can work with you on everything and help you really understand how to build business credit, personal credit, and everything. You can leverage myself, my team. And it shows you here how you can use your loan, cover payroll gaps, find a business acquisition. Credit score, 680 or higher for a term loan here. At least 8K in monthly revenue, time in business, 2 years or more. So it is low, but credit, it's a bit higher. There are some alternatives out there where you don't have to have this. You can start as low as 3K per month with 5K per month, 15K per month. Every revenue category is different. You don't have to have a 680. I mean, that's a difference. I mean, they might be accepting as well 500 and above, like you generally see, especially with advances. But there are other alternatives out there with even bad credit, without collateral, no hard credit checks, and much more. And so you can go through here, easily track your company's health, how to apply for a business term loan, fill out a 15-minute online application, receive matches, get funded. And another thing too is our application process can be much faster. It could take 15 minutes if you needed that time. You can get through it thoroughly. And it's also where you can upload things online safely and securely, or you can send them to me. I'll show you how. And again, you fill out that questionnaire below, and I'll show you the different services that you can best qualify for. And I'll break it down very thoroughly. I'm not hiding anything. So receive matches, number 2, and then 3, get funded. And then there are some people saying great things about them, but just take that at face value, that not every single one of those reviews is created equally, even the good ones. Some people are not in that position to receive that kind of financing or that kind of support. They are supported, by the way, and they are helpful. Sometimes it may be a marketing perspective, and then even some of the bad ones may not be best. But you have to be very careful about, again, giving your information, because once you give it, sometimes it's hard to get out of it. And even when there's a way to get out of it, you're still getting contacted. And now your information is out there. People are able to buy information off the credit bureaus, syndication, and then trigger leads off the credit bureau, syndication, other ways. They already have your data stored, so they contact you. And yeah, there's just a little bit more I'm looking at here with FAQs. But yeah, again, so I'm going to end the video here. Lendio, they are legitimate. However, that doesn't mean they are the best for you. And I am a bit opposed, and not trying to be biased, but through experience, through understanding how a lot of online marketplaces work as opposed to working with a different setting, and you get the best education first. You don't want to go into an app knowing nothing. You want to go into it at least having to know what you can and can't qualify for, right? You want to know, okay, absolutely, if I can't get 20,000, why is it? Is there a different lender service that is telling me this? I'll show you. And why you only qualify for right now up to 7,500, maybe you qualify only up for 30,000, maybe it's 5 million. Or if there's another service like an SBA loan, and I have those networks and I have that Rolodex you can leverage. So hopefully that gave you a better perspective. I know it wasn't on screen showing you things, but you get to understand. And there are more things why I wouldn't go to an online marketplace like this and give them information, let alone look at an offer, accept an offer, because there's so much out there that I could have said even more about, but on different things that could happen and where you could possibly be positioned. But I'm going to leave it there. Look down below in the description. Fill out that questionnaire if you haven't yet. There will also be a #1 recommended service / lender / organization that I recommend. And I break it down. It could be in a blog post, might be in a video, but I show you step per step, like what are the underwriting guidelines? If this scenario looks like this, what would then happen? And people are always working with me and they confide in me. I had a lady just earlier send me her bank statement so I can verify her depositing, her revenue, seeing what stands out, what doesn't, and just making sure that she's going through the right service. And she was having questions about whether she can qualify for something or not. So if you also wanted somebody who can handle the docs carefully for you, and that's another part why you want to work with the business loan broker / consultant and myself, is because I can handle the docs very carefully, safely, and securely. I will pre-underwrite myself before, and then I can send it over to the right underwriter and lender. And then we can work from there. And you know you're in the best safe hands. So once I get feedback, I'll come back to you. You can respond back. If there's anything more we need, boom, boom. But it can be faster, lower doc, medium doc, higher doc. It can take more time sometimes. But that'll be everything for me. Again, look down below in the description. If you got value, please give it a thumbs up. Share with others who you feel will find value out of it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future videos I will be coming out with. That is it for now. Talk soon. Bye.